Narsa.
Problem on channel 1, low frequency feedback.
We have a problem on channel 16, I believe it's an uncalibrated calculation and syncopation circuits.
Track 24 reporting an uncontrollable low frequency beat. We can't seem to locate it.
Track 14 trying to maintain proper stabilization on this channel without creating a situation of overmodulation.
Has landed. Radio.
Saturday night. That's right. So that last 3 minutes probably made you forget about everything you were thinking about before. I know it did me. Jeff Healy. That's the Lost soundtrack from Roadhouse. Anyways, sit back, relax, and chill. Lean back 33 degrees while I find Rock and Rio. Ground Zero Plus. It's Ground Zero Plus. Mine's Jimmy. It's the chilluminatti. And I'm trying to find Rockin' Rio. He's disappeared somewhere in the mist.
Yo, you got it where you not it, put the pipe down. It's been a while since I've been around town.
Your favorite TV shows are on YouTube. Enjoy the...
I reloaded, okay? I'm thinking of you and all the things that you do. Yeah, I'm thinking of you. Hell yeah, that's true. So sway with the love that you got in my heart. And apart from being light to the spark, it's dark and the bad men will play games. Talking tough, dropping name games. Play it, that's a shame. Then the other day, Punk tried to blow up the spot, but he would stop like show him what you got. Stop, take it easy. Yeah, this ain't China, Hawaii. I got Frank like Oscar Mayer. Inspire, make you jump and shout. Yes, it's out. The criminals don't let you down. Whoop scooping, Mata hoopling. I take the hip hop back to school and put the blues in. Now we cruising, body moving. Yeah, we grooving. The only Sue I know is Susan. I'm thinking of you and all the things that you do. Yeah, I'm thinking of you. Hell yeah, that's true. I don't overplay your hand, lay in the cut, mix it up, stay tough, acting harder than enough. Use your head, diversify your bonds, say it like a song, hit it like a yeah, gone are the days, but the dawn is on its way. And if you stay in the game, nothing gets in your way. Tenacity, guts, or what have you. Do they give you enough respect up on the avenue? Do they speak your name out, what? Stuck in a rut, but I'm the one that knows what you about. That's true. Yes, you radiate heat, you put the boom in the beat. You're the dream I wanna dream when I'm asleep. Yeah, far no chicken, no way. Shuffling your bizzle, repeat all day. Some say the underdogs are on their way. Man, we're here, and y'all press play. Yeah, the times need us, they come between us. Propping up Judas like Jesus to please us, please. I'm thinking of you and all the things that you do. Yeah, I'm thinking of you. Hell yeah, that's true. I'm thinking of you. Yeah, thinking of you. Thinking of you.
You fi live your life and love your life, for that we say. Cause down in a Babylon we not take no prisoners, no there. Fortunate youth and Albatross, you tell them say. Groundation. See ya. You got to live life. True intention. Intention. You got to live life. With true intention. Intention. remember that each day you must live like a contender. Life and a program where you're right on your agenda. Whether you're an offender, defender, the judgment is a blender. Telling the youth don't go astray. Different pattern night and day. Life and a granted, choose your way. Love is a padlock, life for the key. And I so love you for real. I'm never read by your big deal. I'll sign, copy and seal. So everything must reveal.
You got to live life.
You got to live and you got to love your life
with true intention.
True intentions.
Intention. You got to live life.
You got to live and you got to love your life.
I'm hooked on you, honey. Never letting you go. 'Cause I got desire. It's starting to show.
All right then.
Tightly.
If you're new to the show, Saturday night, we usually just chill and play a little bit of music and then get into something. So I got a bunch of windows open, ready to get into something. So who knows what that will be. I'm going to give Rock and Rio a couple more minutes. And if not, it's me and you.
Call it sad, call it funny. But don't get low. 'Cause I got desire. And I can't let you go. Here's the thing, I can't stop thinking about you. Can't stop thinking about you. Here just thinking about you. Till the stars burn out. Let me back in your head and your heart again. I've been thinking about you, baby, tell me when. I get so carried away, looking in your eyes. You spark a fire and I just can't deny. 'Cause it's you I'm thinking. Here's the thing, I can't stop thinking about you. Can't stop thinking about you. Here just thinking about you. Till the stars burn out.
All right, there you go. Cannons. Hey, it's Saturday night. It's Ground Zero Plus. My name's Jimmy. It's the chilluminatti. The amazing Randy. In a past life, Mike Davis. What's happening? What's happening, Karen? What's going on, Vin? Good to see you.
Thanks, Lisa. Check out my.
Yeah, anyways, greatest ever. See who else is over here. Sunspots, Polly Nation. What's up, Polly? Great show this afternoon. Woohoo! Amber, too. What's happening, Amber? Great to see you. See who else is in here. Mike, Mont. What's going on? Mike, Davis, yo, Kent. The Microcosm of Jimmy Jean on YouTube. So, as you can tell, it's Saturday night, chilluminatti, and you can hear my voice. I'm about as chill as chill can be at this point. So, let me see here. Let me scroll over to my windows that I have open. And I didn't send any of this stuff out there, so I'm not going to put this stuff up on the screen over here. I'm just going to read it to you. So check it out. I thought this was interesting. ape communications shock scientists. Language may be 7 million years old. A major study revealed wild apes called bonobos can combine vocal sounds to form phrases with complex messages and meanings, something once thought to be exclusive to humans. Researchers recorded 700 calls from these African great apes and found they use specific sound combinations to express ideas like, let's do what I'm doing and let's find peace. Some phrases added meanings together, others changed meaning entirely, like they say bad dancer. 7 scientists now believe the roots of human language stretch back at least 7 million years, shared with our closest relatives. Well, I guess that would mean if you think you evolved from apes. But as far as being our closest relatives, I guess as long as you don't have Rh negative blood, then if you have positive blood, then it might be your closest relative. But for me, I don't think I'm relative over there. But it's all, I guess it's all relative, isn't it? I guess so. I don't know. What I do know is, hey, if you like what you hear here on Ground Zero Plus, you can become a supporter, and you can head on over to the website, and then, like I say, become a supporter. And I think, I'm pretty sure, and I'm not 100% on this, but I think if you go over there and support, and somebody's on the air, the person that's on the air, they know that you're supporting that show or something. I don't know. Who knows? I can't keep track of it all. You know what I mean? I have a hard enough time keeping track of my own business. But I know somehow, some way, it has something to do with it. It's lost on me. I don't know. I can't say at this point. I was about to do something though, and I don't know what happened. But I do know that this ape story is interesting to me just simply because, with this AI and this using it, AI, using it to crack the animal languages for all these species that are all over the face of the earth. Yeah, well, pretty soon, those little things you keep in your pocket, when you go on a trip, you can translate. Well, pretty soon you'll just be translating right to the animals. So you have one for your dog, just... You know what I'm saying? All right.
I think I'm sophisticated because I'm living my life like a good homo sapien. But all around me everybody's multiplying and they're walking around like flies, man. So I'm no better than the animals sitting in their cages in the zoo, man. Cause compared to the flowers and the birds and the trees, I am an ape man. I think I'm so educated and I'm so civilized cause I'm a strict vegetarian. But with the overpopulation and inflation and starvation and the crazy politicians, I don't feel safe in this world no more. I don't wanna die in a nuclear war. I wanna sail away to a distant shore and make like an ape man. I'm an ape man, I'm an ape man, no I'm an ape man. I'm a King Kong man, I'm a voodoo man, no I'm an ape man. Cause compared to
Yeah.
the sun that sits in the sky.
All right. Hey, listen. I saw this earlier. I'll share it with you guys tonight here on the show. So, a person on TikTok, they made a comment, and they said they were talking to God, and they said, "Give me your most unhinged God. As if this is you, give me a sign." A moment. I'm not talking I saw a butterfly. I mean the kind of thing that makes you stop and think, okay, God, this is you. I see you and I hear you and I'm listening. And there's a bunch of comments after she made that statement or whatever, there's a bunch of comments, and somebody said, I was in my car bawling, praying to God to show He was with me. And after a rough day, immediately my car dinged, showing my passenger wasn't buckled up, and I was the only one in my car. He was there. Next person said, I went through a breakup, and I asked God to bring me a better man. A week later, I met my soon-to-be husband. His last name is Better Man. My jaw is still on the floor. My 2-year-old nonverbal daughter was diagnosed with autism. I prayed for days for her to speak. After 40 days of prayer on the dot, she spoke words within weeks, and her autism symptoms reversed. I prayed in a church to be forgiven and sobbed my eyes out, not a believer yet. And then I was driving, and a car cut me off, and their license plate said, unforgiven, or you're forgiven. Anyways. So, yeah. These are, so she asked for a sign from God, and she got a bunch of messages over there on her channel. Let me see what else I got laying around here. I want to let you know the White House just released their statement about the economy, and the president has won his second round matchup at the Senior Club Championship today in Jupiter, Florida, and he's advancing to the championship round tomorrow. So just a heads up. There you go. What else do I got here? Let me see. All right, yeah. Massive protests today. All over the place. And it's some I'm trying to think of the name. It begins with an I. I think it's Intervision or something like that. You know what I mean? I can't think. It's a Soros funded organization. And I'm pretty sure it's called Intervision. I'll have to look. Hang on, let me check this shit out. No, I think it's called Intervision or something like that. Anyways, supposedly there's been funding in all 50. What the fuck's going on with this? No, apparently there's been funding in pretty much every one of the cities that these protests were happening at. But I did watch some video of it. And it was, there was a shitload of people in New York. A lot of people. And the other one I saw was Chicago. That was another one that looked big. So I haven't looked everywhere, all around, but there was definite protesting going on. I'm not sure exactly, what it was they were protesting specifically. If it was it was one issue, it's not like a war protest or it's just overall, I'm pissed off and I need, I'm not real sure. But there was a lot of people. I do know that. And so I guess we'll find out if there's any, burning or destruction. Hopefully not. But, like I say, you're just walking along, all of a sudden there's a bunch of stuff going on. It's always a moment that people, let it all hang out, so to speak. All right, it's Ground Zero Plus. Mine's Jimmy.
This is what they tell me.
Alright. Seriously, I have a bunch of, I wasn't sitting here before the show thinking I was going to sit here and monologue for 2 hours, coming up with shit, but I can do it no problem. I just need to, get my feet on the ground here. But I know one of the things I don't have a bunch of show stuff on my iPad, but anyways, so there's a bunch of people that are caving in on this whole Trump thing. Vietnam, India, Israel, European Union. The EU has proposed lowering car tariffs and increasing purchases of U.S. energy and military equipment in an effort to negotiate exemptions and reductions. Trump has long complained about the EU's unwillingness to buy American cars. Japan has signaled willingness to negotiate by pledging increased imports of U.S. liquefied natural gas. South Korea, Thailand. So, I don't know. Well, I guess we're gonna find out. Canadians are tasty. Kent is getting ready for the man corn barbecue. Watch out. Alright, listen. I gotta figure something out here to get into. I'm not sure exactly what I had on my mind earlier. I'm trying to scroll back. Trying to go back in time. Yeah, hang on, Sponge. I see you guys are over there in the chat room, Ground Zero Plus. I can't. The whole thing is, it's like if Rio's not here, I can't take calls. So, CAC, if you've been on a call, or Polly, if you want to call me, either one of you guys want to call, give me a call. I don't know if you can call me, CAC, if you got my contact, because I'm not findable on Skype unless you have it. But maybe if you go to one of the calls you've been on before, you can do that. That's the only way. Otherwise, I can't take calls because Rio's got the phone number. It has to answer on his thing. Yow. All right. Anyways, tomorrow morning at 8 Pacific, 12 hours from now, I'll be back for the Sunday morning wake and bake. Alright, let me see if I can hook something up here. Here's Dub Princess.
Even if your voice quavers, shaking on my windowsill. The condensation when I hear thunder. My mind is jaded by the chill. Thoughts are taking all my will. I want to move forward beside no light. Take a hold on to that risky way. Your thoughts are in disguise. Don't you know? Time's passed, look at what you've earned. Been a little burned, you say. The conversation turned.
Anyways, there goes the dub. Princess. Speak truth. Ground Zero Plus, chilluminatti, Saturday night. I'm slow rolling. And I'm like Uncle Joe. Tonight I'm moving kind of slow. But it's alright. It's okay. Take care of yourselves. That's the main thing. I was thinking about it earlier. I mean, really, I don't hate to harp on this thing about being on crutches or whatever. But, everything is a whole project. In other words, going up and down the stairs, going back and forth. Forget something, you gotta, hanging off these crutches, on your shoulders right here, on your underarms, your back, it's there's people that are on them and they're never going to be off them. At least I have something to look forward to at some point where I'll be able to, no longer need the assistance of these crutches, whatever. But it puts it in perspective anyway, because all of a sudden things you used to take for granted, you just walk over there and drop something in the trash. Come back. Oh shit! I forgot a paper towel. Got to all the way back in the kitchen. All the way outside. My coffee went cold. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. That's the thing, man. I'm barely even getting started. I had 3 weeks of no cast. Now I have 2 weeks of cast that I got to get it looked at next week. But then after that, there's still going to be more weeks of cast. I don't know how long it's going to... I think it goes on for like 6 weeks or something. Yeah. See, by the time 6 weeks roll around, I'm either going to be ripped, with an 8-pack, or I'm going to be torn to shreds or whatever.
You got it alright in your head now. Yeah, I think you got it alright in your head. There's something pretty fucked up with your conscience, but I'd say you got it alright in your head.
Office of Strategic Influence, OSI. I don't know, CAC. Go look in your calls and see if you're in there. See if I'm in there. That's the only way you can call in. Alright. Alright, let me check that out. Hey, it's Ground Zero Plus. Wasn't, hang on a second, I'm trying to dig some email out. Everybody's on gabapentin. I just sent you my Skype address. There they go, OSI. Hey, it's Ground Zero Plus. I'm not sure, man. I heard something was going on with Clyde, and I'm not sure exactly what it is. Maybe somebody knows. I'm going to go I'll check the chat room over in Ground Zero Plus in a minute. I just got a whole bunch of stuff going on all at once here. Hang on a second. Hey, let me know when you're ready, Paulie. I'll hook you in. Cac, I emailed you my Skype contact. Alright, so it's Ground Zero Plus. My name's Jimmy. Saturday night, chilluminatti. And so far, I haven't had much to say, just simply because, like I said, was chilling. I wasn't planning on coming on here monologuing off the top of my head for 3 hours. It's not that I couldn't do it, but that's when I get in trouble. That's when I start saying shit.
Remember that it's flesh and bone. And I have heard.
Starts to get to be to a point, man, and the more you know, the less you feel like saying, the less you want to talk, man. The more you know, the clearer it becomes if you keep your mouth shut.
Shop. Down here at the pawn shop.
And that, my friends, is what they call the bullhorns of a dilemma. Especially when you're in talk radio. You gotta find something to do, you know? Man, you're not gonna believe this. Cac just called me, and when I went to answer the call on Skype crashed. Oh, here it came back. I thought it was gonna make me do two-factor authentication where my fucking cell phone's in the house. Alright, hang on. I'm gonna try to call Cac. Try to call him back. See what happens. It's ground zero plus.
But has been so, not strictly so. Please remember it's flesh and bone.
Try calling. It's not letting me call you, Cac. Call me back. Hey, Cac. Call me back, Jack. Don't give me no flack. Alright. Paulie's gonna come on too. What is this, man? This is where you tuned in right now. You're going, what the fuck is this? What are you gonna do, man? You know? Alright, hold on. Let me see if I can work this up. Do you hear me, Cac?
I hear you.
Excellent. Right on. All right, hang on a second. Just stay right there, because Paulie's going to join us too. Just give me a second.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. What the fuck is this? I swear, I don't know, man. There's something that's I feel like there's something up, simply because there's been a bunch of weird glitches with technology even before the show, like just stuff I was doing. You know what I mean? And I wonder what's going on. I wonder if it's the sun, because that sun has been acting up. So I'm not sure what the hell's going on around here. All right, Cac, hang on a second. Let me see what's going on with Paulie, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, that's much better.
What'd you say?
Yeah, I'm speaking. All right, we're better now. Thanks.
All right, yeah, there we go. All right, so what's happening, man? I don't know what happened to Rio. It's not like him not to, even check in or whatever. So hopefully he's all right, because he was having that eye thing with his that piece of metal in his eyeball. So hopefully he's all right.
Yeah, I hope he got that out, because that just bugs the heck out of you. You know, it feels like an itch, but it's a little metal fleck in there. They got to dig it out with something called a spud. It's like a little tiny miniature precision dig it out thing. And yeah, hopefully that's taken care of. But,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So that was that actually. I went back and listened to the show from last night. It was actually a pretty good show. And so, but in listening to that, I was wondering because you had some direct information about a certain thing. I was going to ask you: are you into financial shit? Is that is that your thing? I mean, you seem like you do have a handle on what's going on as far as.
I've made some study of it. I kind of keep abreast of it. I'm by no means any kind of financial wizard.
Do you know? Do you know Dan Manarino is?
Dan Manarino. No. I did.
He's a stock. He's a stock dude. He's pretty popular. People like him. He's got a style or whatever. I'm not sure what his trip is though. He definitely is always talking about things just being right around the corner. Shit's right around the fucking corner.
Yeah.
Listen.
I mean, there's some folks around that I've been listening to for years, and then there's like the Max Kaiser stuff with Bitcoin going back to 2011 and stuff like that. So I've kind of kept abreast on that. But there's other stuff going on.
All of a sudden, Rio's green on Skype. I wonder if he woke up. I'm gonna add him to the call. Cool. I'm adding Paul. I'm adding Polly
right.
too. So no. Listen, here's the thing. There was this moment. I mean, this is years and years ago. Okay, years and years ago when I found out about Bill Cooper. But Bill Cooper's already dead at that point. But there used to be this. There used to be this website where they had all the Bill Cooper episodes of from all time. Every single one, it was there, and I listened to every single one of them. And some of them I listened to a bunch of times. Sometimes, you know what I mean. And so, this is a long time ago. It's when I was sick. I was just laying around, trying to get better or whatever. So I needed shit to do. So hours go by when you listen to these shows. So, anyways, but the point is that it was in that moment and it was Greg Manarino. He should change his first name to Dan Manarino. Stockman. No, anyways.
Yeah.
So
check him out.
Here's the thing is that I came to this realization during that period of time because at the same time that I was listening to that shit, I was also listening to current radio. Some racket going on. Anyways, I was also listening to current radio. And at the very same moment in the current times that we live in, which these shows were years before, they were talking about the same exact shit. In other words, people were shilling gold, people were selling storable food, people were all the same exact things that they were doing when Bill Cooper was on the air. They were still doing.
The prepper stuff, yeah.
Just anything, the gold, everything. Everyone was talking about the stock market's going to crash and this and that. And then there was every Friday Bob Chapman would come on, Alex Jones, and he'd sit there and go over shit. And and he would sit there and say, well, it's going to happen, but it's not going to happen for, not going to happen right now. It's going to happen eventually, but it's not right now. But anyways, people have been saying the shit's going to crash, but and especially there's been times when you thought it was going to crash. Right? But
yeah, exactly.
There was a point where it lost I don't know what year it was, but the stock market went down 22%. I'm not sure when that was exactly.
I remember the big crash in 2008 and, the housing crisis and all that stuff where everybody was getting adjustable rate mortgages and then they were getting foreclosed on because they couldn't make their balloon payment,
Yeah.
Excuse me. And that's when I started, listening up and Coast to Coast, AM and other people I was listening to. And I was actually working on Pacifica Radio as a volunteer too. So I was kind of plugged into, different stuff.
Do you know who Dave Emery is?
Oh, of course. Yeah. He's a Brussels sprout.
Dave Emery I used to sit there. A long time. This is before I got sick when I had my cabin in the Redwoods and I was living there. I used to sit there every time Dave Emery was on. I would listen to it, and if people aren't hip to it, just do a Google search on him. He's one of the original broadcasters, and who else was another one was Mae Brussels.
Mae Brussels, yeah, he was a Brussels sprout. She got a lot of like another generation of researchers going, and she was just a mom in the Bay Area. Yeah, and she would do deep dives. You know her story. She was amazing.
A lot of the original weird mansion shit that I learned about, I've learned from her, because you can go and find her thing was called Guns and Butter, and you can go find her. You can go find her shows, and you can go listen to that show about Manson. She talks about the Manson thing, and she wasn't. The thing about Mae Brussels was, back then when she was doing her thing, her whole thing was, and she would get these articles, these actual newspaper articles. Back then there was no fucking internets. You know what I mean? She would literally categorize she'd read all these articles and categorize everything. Yeah, it's just wild that a lot of people don't even know who Mae Brussels is.
Yeah, and let me clarify. I said that, she's just a mom. I think she had like the ultimate maternal instinct to take care of not just her family, but her community too, and that's what drove her to do all this amazing research. And she wouldn't take no for an answer, but she put in the work. And a lot of people said that eventually she was poisoned, but who knows? We'll probably never know. But she did a lot of work for a lot of years and talked about, the violences like the Manson family and everything that happened at Altamont. Anything after the Summer of Love and when the peace movement was hitting its stride, there was all these undercurrents going on and disruptiveness and a lot of like domestic mind control and terror operations. So she was all over that, so. Yeah,
she lived up I'm pretty sure she lived up in Big Sur or somewhere in that area, like up there.
Yeah.
Down by Monterey.
And then there was the other guy who did The Realist. What was his name? That fella. He was based in San Francisco. Krasner, Paul Krasner.
Paul Krasner.
Is that right? Is that the right?
I think you're right.
Okay, so yeah, he put out The Realist, and he was, like an underground journalist type of guy, and somebody that would always get bounced off of the mainstream media networks and stuff. But he was like a frequent guest on her. She did like a radio show. But anyway, yeah, Dave Emery, all those folks. That's what got me hooked. For over 30
Dave Emery
years.
was one of the first that I listened to.
Dave?
Hey, Rio, right on.
Yeah.
Dave Emery was the first one you listened to?
One of the first, the conspiracy podcast or whatever he called it, the conspiracy show.
Yeah, it wasn't it was definitely way before they didn't have podcasts.
Well, yeah, I think it was called the conspiracy show, right? He was out of Canada.
No, he's out of.
What was that on?
He was here. His whole thing was fascism.
Yeah. He was the one who like exposed the whole Prescott Bush tie into the Nazis and stuff like that.
Exactamundo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here.
All the rat lines and all that stuff.
One of his favorite words I remember was milieu.
That's right. Yeah.
Milieu.
Yeah. No.
And he's a compelling speaker in person too. I mean, I saw him do a talk in Santa Monica one time, and it was pretty intense. And he pretty much called for like the court martial and execution of W. Bush. And everybody got up and just was shouting and clapping. It's like, wow, man, that was intense. Of course, this was like during 02, 03, right around there, Gulf War II.
Yeah, something like that. It was shortly after I had become aware of the 9/11 situation that I found him. So.
Yeah, and then Richie was the one that wasn't Richie the one that dropped that on you.
Yeah, Richie was the one who dropped. Richie was supposed to be on one of those planes.
So
Oh man.
he's talking about Richie Havens because Rio and Richie were, tight. They worked together.
Oh, love Richie Havens. Amazing artist.
Yeah.
One of the greatest guys you'd ever know, too.
Wow.
But he was supposed to be on the plane from Boston back to New York, I think it was Boston to New York was where the plane was going. But he got a call the night before he was supposed to be on the plane, and they told him, "Don't get on the plane, no matter what. Do not get on that plane."
Oh my God.
So when it all went down the next day, right? At first, his manager called me to make sure that we were okay, right? Because we were actually supposed to be going into the city that day.
Mm-hmm.
And then, later that afternoon, Richie gets on the phone and he's like, "Man, they did this to us." I was like, "What are you talking about, man?" He says, "We did this to ourselves, man." I was like, "What do you mean we did this?" He says, "Can't talk about it on the phone. We did this to ourselves." I'm like, "Richie, what are you talking about?" He's like, "We," So then he says, "I'll tell you Friday," because we were doing a show Friday night.
Wow.
And he showed me his airplane ticket and laid it on me, and I was like, "Wow, man!" So that was what turned me on to the world of conspiracy.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're everywhere. These inches.
Inches are everywhere.
It's not funny, but yeah.
But he took a limo back from Boston that night instead of getting on the plane.
I'm trying to log into Ground Zero Plus chat room, but for some reason I can't get in there now.
On my other phone, I'm in the chat room there.
Yeah, I see you in there. Hang on. Let me see if I can do this one more time.
So, Catherine Austin Fitz, she's somebody who used to be secretary or assistant secretary for the Housing Urban Development Department way back when. I think Bush won. But she's got her finger on the pulse and comes out with a lot of interesting views and research on her own end. And she has like her own Solari group thing. That's kind of like a membership for financial advice. But, over the years, there's been like some great books. Some Michael Lewis did The Big Short and Liar's Poker, and Jim Rickards, I've put that in the chat too. He did Currency Wars, and he's another fellow that's kind of, been calling for this collapse of the dollar and, for a long time, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not letting me in there.
Yeah, I haven't been able to get in either. We've got to get Chris to set that up.
Yeah, he set it up. Anyways, check this out here.
I can't believe the year is half over. It is. I guess it's time for contemplation. It's gone so fast, half a year. We've survived the Reagan administration for a half of a year, and I have a lot of feelings about what has come down the last 6 months. It's also the nice longest day of the year, and the days get shorter towards winter. That's hard to believe.
That's me, Brussels.
Yeah.
There she goes. Now, I mean, this is the secrets of the SS. But anyhow, I don't even know what's going on with this at all. I went over there. There's a whole bunch. Apparently, somebody's uploaded a whole bunch of Mae Brussels over onto YouTube now, so you can go over there and check out a bunch of her shows if you're into it.
Yeah, they're still there.
Yeah.
And they seem pretty harmless, but actually they lay the foundation for a lot of stuff that's just kind of, getting new names, new faces, new brands, same old psyop stuff going on, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, Rock and Rio.
Yes.
I was looking for you. I didn't know where you were. I was worried. I thought maybe your eyeball or something happened.
The eyeball is still an issue to a little bit of an extent. It's okay. But no, I have I have this sleeping thing that it just randomly sneaks up on me. I was wide awake at 10 o'clock, and probably about 10:30, I just There it goes.
You got bombarded by the sun.
Yeah.
I think the sun is causing people issues. All right, let me see if I can get in this Ground Zero chat room. I just cleared my browser.
I don't know. I haven't been able to get in there myself either. So
Let me see what happens. Still wants me to put my password. I'm caught in this loop. Wants my password. And then I put my password in, and then it sends me an email. It says, now we're going to send you an email. So I go to the email, and then I click on the link, and instead of it bringing me to the chat room, it brings me to the sign-in page, and I have to sign in all over again. I'm caught in a loop. That same loop I was in with that chat
Well,
GPT.
that's the problem with it, is we don't have the account set up yet.
No, I have an account set up.
Oh, well,
I just tried to log in, and it gave me problems.
yeah. Well, I had the same issue.
Maybe it logged me in, and I don't know. Let me just go over there and see. Oh man, it's too much. Anyways, go ahead. I'm just trying to get connected here. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that and now everybody's heard the 9/11 story of how I figured out, that the world is not as it seems.
Yeah.
But Richie was hip to a lot of that stuff, man. He was, well, once that happened, he clued me into a whole lot more. But he was aware of it, back in the 60s, right? So
yeah,
because he was one of the first hippie protesters back in the day.
Yeah. Internet Rebel in the Ground Zero Plus chat is saying Klaus Schwab's not going to step down. Yeah, I think we were talking about that a little bit last night.
I think he's got a mini me.
Well, they're
Of
saying
course he's got
they're
a mini-me.
saying that Harari is going to take over.
Yeah, Harari.
No, he's just as evil.
If Harari takes over, man, you better run, you better get your bug out bag and fucking bug out.
He's. I was just gonna say he's just as evil, if not more. He might be more evil than Klaus.
All right, Polly's here too. Polly, how come you're not saying it? You're just kicking it.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's happening?
What's up, Polly?
I was gonna actually chime in there when you were talking about Schwab and saying, oh yeah, there's already a replacement for him. His name's Carney.
Yeah.
He's gonna be prime minister of a country soon.
Prime Minister of your country, right?
Yeah, well, whatever the countries are.
I wonder if you're
Yeah.
going to be a part of the North American Union, Jack. Don't even worry about that.
Hey, I started a campaign. I'm trying to get one of those $5 million citizenship gold cards. So if anybody's interested in helping me out, I only need a lot of money to go.
Well, the best thing you can do is
citizenship gold card.
If I were you,
yeah, you can buy citizenship if you got $5 million. You just give it to Donald Trump, and he'll give you citizenship.
Well,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No, I didn't. That's a new one on me. I did not hear about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
the card, it has his face on it. I think it has his face on the gold.
How do you
card.
feel about that, Rio? Do you think it should be worth more than $5 million or less than $5 million?
Oh, I think $5 million is a good start.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought too.
Well,
That's
who
about
gets,
a fair. That's
who
a fair
gets-
price to get in.
Who gets the $5 million?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the thing. All right, so 718-618-9905 is the number to call. Rock and Rio's back, and now we can open these phones. Because I know,
I think Doge gets the money.
man, Doge doesn't give a shit about $1 million, $5 million, $20 million, however many million. That dude is that dude's the guy that invented Bitcoin. He's got 100 Bitcoin.
See, I just got my special driver's license with the chip in it, so I could just technically walk up and come see you now.
You got the smart ID, brother?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, they made us get it. They made us get it in New York. We got I have the enhanced New York driver's license with the chip, the RFID chip. So, I can just walk up to the border and walk right on through, and they'll know. I don't even have to stop.
See right
Just
there,
go
that's
right
exactly.
through.
Well, see, that's a demonstration right there how it's all going to happen. Because
Yeah, exactly.
somebody tells you, they say, you got to have this, and you got to have it, and that's it. And so you don't have a choice. If you don't have that ID, what's going to happen to you if you don't have one?
Well, you can't fly.
You can't.
That's what they're starting with. You can't fly, right?
Well, they don't want you to fly, and that's why those planes are going down. They say it's an idea that
Who wants to fly with a bunch of Michelle Pfeiffer pilots who had the Michelle Pfeiffer experience? They're dropping dead.
Well, yeah.
What's up
Mike
with all
says
this?
real ID. Yeah, it's real ID, but there's we have an enhanced version here, so we can cross the Canadian border actually, I think it works for Mexico too.
So it's actually a passport card as well.
Well, it only works for
Mexico.
Canada and Mexico.
Yeah, it's for the
so
North
far.
American Union. Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So it's like in a way, it's like a North American passport.
See?
You can't fly to Europe and that way, but I can go right up to the Canadian border and go right in now. I mean, it used to be that way with the driver's license. You could just if you had a New York driver's license, you could go into Canada. That all changed back then at 9/11.
9/11 stopped it. Yep.
Yep. Well, actually, I don't think it was implemented in till 2004, 2005, but it was, we had to have a passport after that to get through the border.
Mm-hmm. Now, Cap, did you go look at that XDC shit?
I did, and it looks like you were correct in that it's built off of what is it, Ethereum, but I think I may have found a way to get it through Solana coin. So I'm gonna check it out.
Well, there's some platform, something 9 platform. I can't think of 9 is in the title. So whatever that 9 platform is and that XDC coin is, that's the one that they're going to use to move quadrillions. Did you go check out the Crypto Hulk?
I did.
He's been busy today. He said there's some coin that's 7 cents. It's about to explode.
And XDC was like at 6.8 cents, and I just look at what it's been doing over the months and stuff. It's been around for a while actually. So it's worth throwing like $50 at.
That's what
if it goes up 10 times, hey,
they play dead, man. That North American Union thing, they playing dead on that. They've been playing dead on it for a while.
But then one day it's just going to happen.
Exactly, Mundo, dude. That's what I mean. It's all going on in the background. It's like, don't talk about it. Just don't talk about it. Whatever you do, just don't mention it. So all you got to do is just don't mention it. And down the memory hole it goes. 718-618-9905 is the number to call. We're on like the 50th page on TalkStream Live.
With the world beneath our feet.
Seriously, I was saying before you guys got here, I was saying it gets to the point where you're going down your path in life, whatever, you learn a lot, and you get to this one point where you reach this moment where you realize, the more you know, the less you feel like you want to say. You know what I mean? Because you realize, you guys know what I'm saying? Rock and Rio?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost like you reach this moment of realization where you just go silent, I don't know. You ever taken a vow of silence, either one of you guys?
Not that I can remember.
I've taken.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe I should.
I've taken a 30-day vow of silence.
Oh wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
You have to.
What about?
I had to write everything down I had a little pad of paper.
What about if as you get older, you just choose your ears more carefully?
Well, explain what you mean.
Like, instead of the more you know, the less you want to say, you could also kind of phrase it or look at it like the more you know, the more people you know aren't going to get what it is that you know, so you just don't bother.
Yeah, there's some quote about it. specifically about it. I should try to figure it out. I can't think of the exact words of this quote because it would be a vague recollection specifically, but it did
So there's
describe
a
it.
couple ways to look at that. That could be like a personal like stoicism exercise, just to like shut it down for a while and just, I guess, kind of reboot your inner beliefs or your essence. But I remember Richard Allen Miller saying, "The more you know of one thing, the less you know of another." So it's kind of like that quantum theory. You think you know a lot about one particular thing, and then at the same time you're losing ground on the other end. So it's an interesting balance.
Yeah, Richard Allen Miller is a good dude for the most part. I don't know him personally, like I've never been to his house, but he invited me up there. So when I first started doing this, I was, right after I was sick, I was doing a lot of video work because I was making videos. Not
cool.
Not where I was talking. They were just art pieces or whatever. And there were storylines and like that. I did a whole bunch of shit. Anyways, point is, he was gonna do this series of videos with him and this other dude where they're showing people how to prep and stuff, do different stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
He invited me to come up there and be the dude doing the video with them. But
he worked with Matt Stein for years on the when disaster strikes type of stuff, Yeah.
All right, 718-618-9905 is the number to call.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Did you ever know like a place called Target Video in San Francisco?
No.
They did like a lot of underground, like punk rock videos back in the day, like late 70s.
No.
Okay.
Sounds killer, though.
Yeah. Target Video. Look it up.
I used to go to a place called Clown Alley and get burgers, though, in San Francisco. It's not there
Clown
anymore.
Alley?
Yeah, Clown Alley. They were good burgers, Jack. Let me just tell you that. There used to be a few good burger places down there. There's this place right under the Bay Bridge. It's called Red's, and Red used to make burgers. So you just you wouldn't weigh it. You just with his hands, you make a ball, squish it and be a burger. And
We had a place called Red's over here too, but it was a strip club.
Well, there was no stripping going on at this Red's, at least none that I ever saw. But the burgers were good when Red was there. And then his son took over. Red only used, never frozen beef. And when his son came in, he tried to change it up with the frozen. And then Red's just wasn't the same. And then, of course, Clown Alley closed and San Francisco turned into a shithole. No, I don't, honestly, I don't really think San Francisco's as bad as everybody, was showing it to be.
There's parts that are really bad, but for the most part, it's not too bad, really.
No.
Of course, the Tenderloin is like an open air, drug.
Well, that's the thing. That's what happened.
That's it.
That's what happened is the Tenderloin, people started going in there and revitalizing the Tenderloin. And so all those people that used to just be in the Tenderloin, they got pushed out onto Market Street. You know what I mean? And then now there's all this shit going on Market Street. I was working up there for a while because I was working with this company that did a bunch of retail security shit and all this stuff, different systems. And so I'd get these fucking service calls all over the place, having to go to these retail environments, whatever, fuck with their shit. And I was
Union Square and all that.
Yeah, no, I was going up there for a bit doing stuff, and it was pretty much like I say on Market Street, which is like where, a bunch of tourists used to be walking up and down spending shitloads of money. I mean, there was nobody spending money. There's a bunch of bums and shit going on. People filling up black bags full of shit, up to $1,000 worth of merchandise, and then boning out. That was all going on. So I mean, I don't know. retail in San Francisco. I'm not real sure what's going on with that, but I mean, everything's still there. I mean, there's places where you can go. I'm sure if you don't go down to where, get low, there's places where you can, still eat a good meal and all that.
Oh yeah, I mean Lombard Street and all the nice neighborhoods, of course, are still in good shape.
So,
but that Tenderloin and right there, like First and Second Street, it's like, oh my God. I was actually on the waiting list for one of those SROs, and I went to look at it, and I just said, just kept right on driving. It was a war zone, and there was a cop shop like a block away too, and it didn't matter. It was like, Fort Apache, the Bronx, that kind of intense, outdoor climate. So,
yeah.
But 2 or 3 blocks away, it's like, oh yeah, beautiful city,
Well, there's lots of old world architecture in San Francisco still. Like you look at the Cliff House fire. A Cliff House, another one of these, I don't know. I want to go up there and drive around, check out stuff up there. Some of the older stuff, Antiquitech locations up there. But
yeah, got that, huh? That's wild. That whole idea is just amazing.
Yeah, it's clear that something definitely was going on. So I mean, there's people that put whole things together now. Put a bunch of information all in one place. Wrote a book about it. So I mean, it's plus now with ChatGPT and everybody just going crazy with it as far as doing research. See, I got something going on with my mouse. It's been happening since I've been here. I'm almost thinking this machine is hacked because my shit just scrolls by itself. It's scrolling by itself. I can scroll down and it goes back by itself. So there we go. 878-618-9905. So Rock and Rio. Have you done any reverse speech since we last spoke? I don't think.
No, I have not.
No, I didn't think so.
There hasn't been anything that's really piqued my interest recently to actually sit and analyze.
It's
we've done Trump to death basically.
I know.
And who did we do a couple weeks ago? That was kind of an interesting one, but
that was Zelensky, wasn't it?
Tulsi Gabbard's.
The Tulsi Gabbard one was interesting. Yeah, she's.
Oh my God.
Eyeball scans and all.
Get your eyeball scan ready to go.
But and we did look at the Elon Musk thing a little bit too, but like there's been nothing new and exciting, I guess. I know they've been talking, but there's nothing out of the ordinary going on, I guess you'd say. Like there's nothing shocking. Yeah.
No, I mean, have you reached the point of oversaturation? I mean, it's like after a certain.
How many more times I got to tell you that Trump's a bad man?
That's what I mean. But I'm just saying, at some point when you're taking a beating, you're getting a whipping. At some point you go numb. Have you reached the numb point with everything that's going on? You just want to whoosh, check out. No, I don't mean like that. I mean like, leave it all behind. Just don't turn on the news. Yeah, don't turn.
Just go and eat some steak, right?
Yeah, don't turn on the news. Just listen to some music. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, pretty much. I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to the news anymore. Because,
me neither.
It's all bad news.
I do pay attention to the news, obviously.
Well, yeah, some of it, but it's like it's all bad news. So,
well, there's only one other direction to go. Then, Rio, is you should learn how to physically speak backwards, and then we can reverse your speech so that it sounds like you're speaking forwards. There's people that do that, eh?
Well,
there is, but now you're getting into Crowley magic, and I won't touch that.
Well, okay.
Plus, there's an app.
See, I'm not.
Why is everything fun always
to
magic?
Expose it, but I will not practice doing it.
There's an app that that there is, right? So you can put something in, it'll do it for you, right?
Well, I have done a few, like myself, figured out a few phrases, kind of as a proof of concept thing, where I say something forward and I know what it says backwards. Just
can you say stuff backwards though?
No, I can't actively do it backwards. Like the way I did it, like to do the proof of concept, was I figured out a phrase backwards, right? And then I would say the phrase I wanted you to hear backwards and reverse that, and then try to figure out what that sounded like to say forward and work it back and forth until it would say it, right? Or so that the message anyway backwards was available in what I was saying forwards. You can manipulate it that way. And I did a couple of them as a proof of concept to prove to people that it was entirely possible. Because there's a lot of people who doubt the validity of it, and it always blows their minds when I play them a little recording of what I'm saying. And then but beyond the two or three things that I've done as proof of concept, which are I made sure were not evil phrases. I don't take any further than that to any practice of it, because it's a very dangerous territory to get into.
You don't want to open up any portals, huh?
No, exactly. And even like when I do this stuff on the show, there's some stuff that I found that I won't play because it's spell casting and things like that.
It's too much.
And I won't, I don't want to broadcast it to people and put that on people.
I remember seeing some guy do it on like a talk show, like a morning or an afternoon talk show, like something like Phil Donahue, like way back in the 80s. Some guy was sitting there and he would speak in reverse, and then Phil Donahue would play back a tape, and it would be like, "Hey everybody, my name is blah blah blah." It wasn't anything evil. I just thought it was hilarious.
Well, yeah, there was actually a game I think that came out in the 80s or maybe early 90s called Straucab, which was backwards, right?
Yeah. So then in the chat saying Manson knew how to spoke backwards, and he did.
Yeah, Manson did that repeatedly in interviews.
Yeah, well, that's where we were watching one of these interviews one time. We did the 10 craziest things that Manson ever said, and on the show, and we played it on the show, and then it was in that moment where he said some shit, and we were like, no, he's talking in reverse, and then we reversed it. And then that started a whole thing. I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah, of course.
So that started a whole thing. Once we saw him talk in reverse, they go, "Oh, look, he's talking gibberish, like he's talking alien talk or something." But
he said no. He said that's for, what did he say? He said something like that's the message for people who understand.
No. He said she knows I didn't do it, but she won't tell anyone or something like that.
Yeah.
And something about the drugs also.
No, and he was telling the interviewer it's a message for people who understand, right? So.
Oh, you mean forward?
Yeah, in a forward.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like, so he was clearly stating that, yeah, I know I'm talking backwards, but only people who understand what I'm doing will know what to look for, kind of thing, But I was exposed to it in the music industry and on how to manipulate sound to make that happen, and the way that lyrics are written, even the way a lot of lyrics to songs are written forwards is spellcasting, but how to manipulate the lyrics to get people to say things backwards. You ever notice that a lot of singers garble their words? It's not because they don't know how to enunciate properly. It's because they're doing evil things to you.
Well, isn't a lot of that like an engineer's trick as well, outside of the people writing lyrics and vocalizing?
Yeah, it is, absolutely. You can, if you add certain sounds or percussive tricks. I mean, even Polly's song from a couple of weeks ago is a perfect example of it, right? The AI that added music to his song started manipulating vocal sounds into something that sounded like synthesizer sounds. When he played them backwards, those synthesizer sounds had a message in them too. So I mean, AI is even doing it now.
I think it's doing it to all the music. I was talking about this a while ago. That all the AI music so far that I've personally played around with and that I've listened to from other people all have this like shimmer to it. It's like a glossy paint job. It's really hard to describe beyond that. But if you listen to like, even if you just like say AI remix this song that's already done from somebody else, you can hear it's got this like shine to it. It's like a glimmer or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess a good way to explain it is, there's the current thing in music, right, is the auto-tune and the digital harmonization, right? That's been a thing in sounds and music now for, I don't know, the last 20 years or whatever, right? That auto-tune sound. And that's partially to do with the fact that a lot of these stars really can't sing, and they're just being adjusted to sing. And in the beginning, that auto-tune was not at the place it is now, where it sounds natural enough. But
it's a little bit like auto-tune.
But part of it is that's a perfect way. Those distortions are a perfect way to hide subliminal messages or reversed messages. And they build that in as, like I said, the auto-tune was a thing for people who couldn't sing, and it became a popular sound effect, right? And it's an ideal vehicle for doing the subliminals and the reverses. So, it became a popular thing in music for everybody to sound like that with that digital voice. I think Cher used it, she was one of the first ones that had that Life After Love, right?
Oh yeah.
That sound.
Yeah.
That sound, that auto-tune sound, as it were, is one of those methods. And yeah, I mean, there's other engineering tricks too, like you can add a backward symbol to, literally change a letter from P to S and back and forth, and there's other ways of manipulating it, but that's a very popular one. And those synthetic vocals or synthetic sounds, or just their vocal sounds, but they sound like they're played on a keyboard. There's another popular method of doing it. There's a lot of tricks to it, but obviously lyrical manipulation in the song itself is the easiest way if you understand forward and reverse speech. If you're
didn't Def Leppard use some kind of you remember that song Love Bites? Def Leppard, didn't they use some kind of a weird vocal thing at the beginning of that song? It's like a synthesized voice, but it's somebody actually speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like that guitar tube trick, but they did it with a keyboard, I think.
Yeah, they did that. I mean, obviously the Beatles were the big pioneers in that, as far as adding hidden reverse messages intentionally. Pink Floyd did it. I think it was on Animals, right? It was the one with Pink Floyd. And they had that whole thing where it's, congratulations, you found the secret message, mail your correspondence to Old Pink at whatever the address was.
That's awesome.
ELO, right? That's the big one. The music is reversible, the time isn't. Turn it back.
That's a weird line, actually. That line makes my brain kind of hurt, because music, it is one of those things like time where you can only play it backwards or forwards. Like there's no sideways. There's no now in music, it's it's either got to be played forwards or backwards. You can't do anything else with it. It's kind of like time is.
Well, that's how it used to be. But now it's neither here nor there. You know, it's not a 1 or a 0. That's what the whole quantum space is all about, no?
Yeah, the fuzzy logic, right? That's what they
Exactly.
call it.
The white
Yeah, now it's both.
It's the white space. Looks like Crypto Common Sense got a video coming out that says XRP holders Black Monday warning. Forbes predicts a $200 to $400 XRP.
Wow.
That would be a mind blower.
What's it at now? It's like $2 or something, right?
Yeah. $2. So, I don't know. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not giving you financial advice. Go over to the Crypto Common Sense Crypto. It came out 20 minutes ago. That's a good channel. That's strictly news, no bullshit. No predictions, none of that.
Can I say something about crypto? Just because I don't know really that much about it, but here's what I've sort of settled on. Crypto is gambling for people that don't know the rules in the casino.
Maybe. A lot of people, yeah, I would say on some level, some of these meme coins is gambling. But the other stuff is not gambling at all. I mean, what it is a matter of time. So those dudes and people that bought that Bitcoin in the beginning, that Bitcoin wasn't worth hardly anything. You know?
Right, but that's the hook, right? That's how they get you addicted to gambling. Is they show you the successes of people who managed to get lucky. Do you guys think that there's ever a possibility of people that trade in Bitcoin getting addicted to Bitcoin or like whatever digital currency?
Absolutely. Yeah. And the thing about Bitcoin is you don't, if you're really into it, you don't trade it. You just sit on it and just wait. Just wait. And if you can hang on to it, that's perfect. You don't day trade it. Yeah, you day trade like the other coins.
Exactly.
And that's totally like casino.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the meme coins. Because these coins, like all of a sudden, it's like that Donald Trump coin. It came out.
Or the Doge. The Dogecoin. It's been out for 10 years, over 10 years.
Yeah, but I'm saying that Donald Trump meme coin that just went up when he launched his coin right when he got in office. That shit went up, and then they rug pulled it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't even know how many billions of dollars was in there. Literally, I think there was. I'm thinking there's like a lot of money in there. I want to say it was billions, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's like only hundreds of millions.
So when you dump a digital currency, who is the person buying it or what's buying it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's say you start off at like whatever 25-cent Bitcoin or whatever the hell you want to call it, and then it goes up to like $10,000, and then you decide, yep, I'm good, I'll sell it. Is there really people out there buying it for that much?
Yeah, as soon as you sell it, someone buys it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that buy the top and sell the bottom, you know. So it's supposed to be the other way around, but they don't know what they're doing.
You see why I'm confused?
Well, the thing is you know what it's about. What these coins are is not. It's not like it's way more complicated than just Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin's a certain thing. I mean, it introduced something. You know, it introduced this blockchain, and it introduced this way of anonymity and moving your money around the world without anybody knowing it. So you can move anywhere, you know. And I saw the big rise in the price of Bitcoin when they were about to give the Russian oligarchs, a haircut in Belarus. A bunch of people put their money in there, and that shit went up. And so, but the new system, even though it is blockchain and even though it is like crypto, it's not anonymous in any stretch of the imagination.
No, it's totally centralized.
Yeah.
And that's how they can control you. Yeah.
Yeah. So they try to say it's not centralized, but for the most part, just simply because of the agreements that are had between the government and these platforms where you can buy and sell. They've already agreed that they'll freeze. You know, if the government says, "Hey, this guy's a criminal," you know, they'll freeze your shit. It's not like they've already made these agreements. In other words, they got to agree to it before they'll let you have a platform like that. Kind of a thing is what my impression is. I haven't looked it up, and you know.
Well, yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Like a lot of the exchanges, they cooperate with the IRS. You know, it's called KYC, know your customer. You got to give them all your information, and so they could, you know, collect any capital gains that you have. Whereas if I were to trade, you know, with you, Jimmy, just me to you, nobody has to know about it.
Right. Well, that's the other thing is Trump is saying no capital gains on American crypto. So if that coin is come from America, no capital gains for you. So what do you think about that? So there you go. There's only, how many of them are there? That's all you got to look. I mean, even if you don't know anything, you just look at that. Go ahead.
How does a digital currency come from a country?
They have this thing called stablecoin. And so what they're going to do is every country is going to have their own stablecoin. And their stablecoin will be equal to the amount of their dollar or whatever. Whatever your country dollar is, your stablecoin will always be that. So whatever our dollar is, then the stablecoin for use over here with XRP will be the RLUSD. And so they're saying, I mean, there's been a bunch of Federal Reserve stuff coming out and different stuff coming out recently about they're all stuck on this Ripple thing and their XRP and RLUSD. That's why, I mean, I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just saying go do some research on it and check it out because they're forging new paths with this technology and it's gonna move to that. I mean, Rio just got his ID. Rio just got his smart ID. One step closer to the danger zone. It's Ground Zero Plus 718-618-9905 is the number to call.
Yeah, that smart ID is, you know, baby steps, right? Baby steps to the mark is basically what it is. Mm-hmm. Once everybody gets the smart ID, the real ID, and you know, the enhanced driver's license, it'll be, you know, it's positive ID, right?
Mm-hmm. You got to have positive ID in the future.
Yeah.
Can't have people
right now it's just a card in your wallet, you know, and the eyeball scan is coming.
Well, just think how...
So, you know, then it'll be, you know, it'll be the mark, right? That's where it's headed. That's the road it's on.
Think of how this used to be, man. People don't realize this shit. Man, you used to be able to go into a store, buy some groceries, and write a check. And they would take the check.
Mm-hmm.
And they had no way of knowing if you actually had money in the bank. So you could you could just write a check and just go, oh well, you know.
Go hustle and try to cover it or not.
Yeah, and people used to get away with that shit, or they'd have tickets in one state and they just move to another state, get a different license. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like they didn't used to be able to run your info like they can now, but now everything's public information at this point. Your face, your eye, everything. You have there's no expectation of privacy, is there, at this point? I mean, I would say legally there's no expectation of privacy. So if you tried to sue somebody for invasion of privacy, there is no expectation of privacy at this point.
I mean, as long as you're carrying a smartphone, it's always on. You're always being surveilled.
Yeah.
Why do you guys think we need an eyeball scan?
Every retina is different.
Yeah, but so is everybody's gait. They don't need an eyeball scan. I have a theory about the eyeball scan.
Well, they've already initiated that in China.
The eyeball scan's going to the eyeball scan's going to actually tattoo your retina. You're not going to see it, but that's what they're doing. They're tattooing your retina because they can tell anybody just by their gait. They don't need your eyeball.
Okay, so if they tattoo your retina, then everyone shall have a mark in his right hand or his forehead, right?
Or in their eyeball.
your eyeball is in your forehead.
The thing is, they
Right.
can detect who you are with your gait, but your eyeball is what they want you to put in there because it makes you submit to the eyeball. Makes you put your eyeball in there and say you want it. You're inviting the dude in like in Poltergeist.
So it's like a symbolic thing?
Not just a symbolic thing, but also symbolic.
Okay.
Did you see the trailer for Gray State? Did you ever watch the trailer for Gray State? If
Not
you
me,
never,
no.
Okay, well, you should watch it. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not going to play it on here because it's mostly images, not a lot of dialogue. But that guy, there's a whole conspiracy around that guy that made that movie. The movie never got made. The only thing that ever got made was the trailer. If you go watch that trailer, it's pretty heavy, man. It's a heavy concept. And so, I don't know. You got to move quick. I mean, wouldn't you say it's time to get your bug out?
I've had a bug out bag for 7 years now.
Have you ever used it?
I like using the stuff in it just to like make sure it still works, but I've never had to like bug out. I like using it though. It's a cool kit.
Nice. 718-618-9905 is the number to call. It's about 15 minutes left. You want to call in? Got something to say about this? So no, I mean, the thing is everybody. I know I was one of the people that originally missed out on Bitcoin because I didn't trust it, and I was like, I'm kind of like you are right now. Back then, I was like, you know what, fuck, man, I'm not gonna trust this. You know, and lots of people trusted it. You know, some people trusted it. They didn't trust it with hardly anything. Like CAC was saying, they put like $500 or whatever. You know, so, you know, maybe it could be that moment. You know, a transfer of wealth. You know, maybe make people. Some people will make some money coming up.
I mean, still a good way to erase a lot of debt too. If everybody invests in something they can just make disappear, where does all the money go?
Well, I saw a thing that said hedge funds right now and retail investment. Normally, hedge funds are the ones spending all the money. And for the first time ever yesterday, the retail spending into the crypto market surpassed the hedge fund spending. And that might be because hedge funds are pulling their money out because they're getting shorts. They have, you know,
Getting wrecked.
Yeah, they're getting wrecked on the margins. They're getting margin calls. And they're getting hosed. So that might be the reason. I want to think it's more because people are thinking more in lines of trying to get, you know, they're seeing that the crypto isn't doing the same thing as the stock market, and they're trying to move their money somewhere else where it might be safe, like a safe haven for your money. You know, I don't know. Who the hell knows? 718-618-9905 is the number to call if you want to get hold of us. All right, I'm going to take a swill off my coffee, my cold, dead hand, and my lukewarm coffee.
You
So,
gotta
Jimmy-
get like a Yeti cup or something, Jimmy. You know, keep that coffee hot.
I guess a question for everybody is like, what if you had to leave the country? Where would you go?
It's a good question because there'll be no place to go.
Or just stick it?
I'd go to the U.S.
Yeah. Well,
Polly.
Yeah.
I'd go to Mexico.
I don't know. I would actually think that Canada would be safer than the U.S. If it really hits the fan, because you know the U.S. is going to be a big target if the nukes start flying.
Yeah, but I'd rather
There
be
ain't no
I'd rather be
nukes.
fighting alongside people that can actually shoot a gun.
Man, if there's going to be nukes, it's going to be somewhere like Detroit or something.
It'll be Detroit, Chicago, New York, L.A.
Nah.
Yeah, just mess up the Great Lakes and make it one giant radioactive pond.
Nah. Why? I mean,
Well, you know, if you were to take out New York, Chicago, and L.A., you'd wipe out almost probably 50% of the population.
And 100% of the grid.
Yep.
yeah, well, the thing is if that happens, you might as well kiss your ass goodbye because all the nuclear power plants are going to run out of diesel. And then they're all going to melt down. And then it'll all be over with. You know, that's the thing. I mean, you know, if you go down that road where you start thinking about that shit, that kind of shit, the thing is if you go down that road and play it out in your own mind about it, you know, we've done 1 million shows about the fucking end of the world scenarios. You know what I mean? I could smell an end of the world scenario a mile away. It smells like shit. You know, I'm sick of hearing about it. Because I've been hearing about it fucking ever since we've been doing this show. I've been hearing about it. I've been thinking about it. I've been talking about it. And it's never happening. But so what goes on is what? So you waste your life and go in the room and take a big fucking shit in the room about the end of the world, you know, when everybody else is having a party. You know what I mean? Fucking end of the world's going to come, you know, and when it does, you know, let the chips fall where they may. I mean, we'll quit wasting time dicking around. You know, I'm just laying it out for you. You know,
yeah.
I'm just saying how it is. You know,
yeah. When it happens, it happens. And realistically, what are you going to do about it? You're gonna go hide in your concrete bunker and eat your canned food for 6 months. Well, good, you'll last 6 months,
right?
Maybe a year.
Right. This might be.
But eventually, you're going to have to come out of that hole.
This, you know, I mean, this might be the kicker or whatever. But I mean, you know, what difference does it make? You know, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever at all. I mean, you know, it used to sort of make a difference because you're feeling like, you know, you want to know some shit so you can be ahead of the curve, like some shit's gonna happen, but you got some, you know, you got the deep dive secret or whatever information, and you're gonna bug out a little couple days sooner than anybody else or whatever. You know, I don't know.
Or you're just in refuge for your family, you know, if you're on the run and just fleeing whatever horrible environment you're in. That's why a lot of people come here, you know, to the United States or Canada. They used to run to Canada during the Vietnam War, right? All the draft dodgers.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you know, thing about it is, I mean, we sit here and we talk about it, and, you know, we extrapolate all these different scenarios based on suppositions, different, you know, information. And ultimately, I mean, at this point, it's you know, it's been talked about till, you know, people are blue in the face, and still we're here. They've been saying the stock market's going to crash, but still it hasn't crashed. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. At some point, man, you just got to turn on some music, you know?
Yeah, in the meantime, you got to live your life.
That's what I mean.
And in the meantime, they're still just printing dollars.
Well, hey, and if you don't have any money, you don't care about the stock market anyway. So crash away, baby. Crash away.
That's what I'm saying, man. I don't know. I was about to say something a little while ago, and right in the middle of it, the conversation shifted, and I lost the point that I was going to make, and it's too bad because it was going to be good.
Is it about reverse speech?
No, it was about what we were just talking about. It's about this whole end of the world scenario kind of thing. You know, it's like, if you think the world's gonna end, man, don't you think you should spend time, you know, making your life as great as you can, like every day, realizing that day is, in that moment, you know, everything's okay. You know, I've had a few moments in my life where I knew the minute I started my car and I was going to leave, my life was going to change forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think every one of us has had a moment like that.
That's what I mean.
Even if you don't know what it's going to be, you know something's up that day.
Exactly. Or you know what's happening and you got to fucking go somewhere. You got to go to the hospital because somebody got hurt or somebody's sick. You know, they were fine yesterday, but today, now they're not so good. Now you got to go there. You know, you don't know what's going to happen. That's what I mean. And it's just, you know, how much time you have and, you know, how you spend it and what you spend thinking about, you know, because I think, you know, we've talked enough about frequency and DNA and your spine being, you know, and your brain and your skull. And, you know, we talked about all this stuff. And so your thoughts are way more powerful than you think they are, you know, And so you're sending out a vibration when you think. You know, when you think out and send out the vibration of the negative shit that we're all thinking about. And then if we all think about it together at the same time, and there's millions and millions and millions of people thinking the same thing, eventually, you know, that's going to happen, right? But in the meantime, you know, you could be kicking it on the beach in the sun. You know, you could be playing with a puppy or whatever, you know, reading a book. I don't know. Who knows? It's
Yeah, and you never know either, right? You could be sitting there on the beach in the sun, scratching the puppy's head and just keel over.
Exactly.
Right? So it could just be that moment. It's your time.
Yeah, it's your time. And then in that moment when you're on the beach scratching the puppy's head and it becomes your moment, you wake up and you were dreaming about being on a beach with a puppy scratching its head somewhere else. You're still in your same body. Everything's still the same. You just wake up from a dream.
Well, you want to hear something really bizarre, Jimmy?
Mm-hmm.
The dream that I had in my nap before the show,
yeah,
was that I was late for the show.
Get out of here!
But yes, because I was sleeping, right, and it was 2 hours before the show or whatever it was when I woke up. Yeah, I woke up at like 10. I was like, oh, good, I got plenty of time. It's not time for the show yet. But that was what I was actually dreaming before. You know, it was funny you mentioned that, but
that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And then I ended up falling back asleep and, you know, missing the first hour of the show. So
that's absolutely the wildest thing I've ever heard.
It's kind of mind blowing. Yeah,
it is, especially
since it's a little weird
that I just
we
said
had a search party.
We were going to send out a search party.
A lot of people's intuition or quote unquote psychic abilities have been amplified over the last 2 months. I found things like that are happening to a lot of different people.
Well, I've had those kind of things happen for many, many years. I mean, I remember one, I don't know, it's probably 25 or 30, maybe even more, 30, 35 years ago, whatever. I was going over to a friend's house just to hang out and, you know, play with the computer and stuff, you know. And I got in the car and I started driving over there and I had this horrible feeling like something was drastically wrong. I didn't know if I was going to hit a deer or, you know, like I had this premonition that something absolutely awful was going to happen. And I told her about it when I got there. She's like, oh, don't worry about it. You're here now. You know, you're safe. Everything's fine. Nothing to worry about. You know, let's go fix the thing that we were going to do. And, you know, and probably 10 minutes later, her mother comes in and just tells her that her best friend died on an airplane.
Ugh.
Damn.
Like had a heart attack on an airplane.
All right, listen.
Yeah.
We're on.
So, you know, like
hey.
I knew a half an hour before it happened what was going to happen, that something was going to happen, but I had no idea what it was. You know.
Hey, we're about to leave Ground Zero Plus. Ground Zero Plus, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Pacific for Wake and Bake. Now, Rockabilly, are you going to be here for Wake and Bake?
No, I will not be around for Wake and Bake.
All right. Well, I will. We'll be right back. Stay there, you guys. All right, Ground Zero Plus, we'll see you.
Is a without your love.
All right, they're gone.
I'm just a
Fucking mouse is going berserker, man. I should take a video of it. Seriously, my mouse is going berserker. It's crazy.
Yeah, mine's been acting weird too. It gets stuck in the middle of the screen and won't. It moves like a little bit, like it'll vibrate kind of if I go in any direction, but like I have to really like flail it to break it out of that. It's strange. I don't know why it does that, but
I don't know either.
It sounds like mouse derangement syndrome.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely mouse derangement syndrome.
It's almost like it glitches out and gets stuck in the middle of the, and it's always in the exactly in the middle of the screen for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it kind of like tries to move, but it keeps resetting to the center, and then eventually it'll break out, and then once it does, it works normal again. I don't know if it's like a software glitch or
mine's moving. Mine's going like I'm hitting the button over and over again. Whatever I hover over, like this page that I have open right now. I was just playing that Paul Rogers. It's sitting there fluctuating. If I scroll, it scrolls back to the top of the page by itself.
The other weird thing I've had happening is, like if you go to the YouTube main page, right? It's got all the videos on it. You can hover over them and like listen to the video without actually clicking on it to open it in its own window. Sometimes it'll play like 2 or 3 minutes of the video and it'll just magically open up the next window. Like it'll just like you clicked on it for no reason. It's and then it puts the video in like its own page. But
YouTube's been bonkers lately. That mouse thing that you guys are talking about only happens to me on YouTube Shorts, and I get notified like when I turn my notifications on for a channel. Now I get notified twice for the same video. So what I go delete all these notifications, thinking that I'm deleting them, but I'm not.
Well, I sat there and, I went back and listened to the show from last night. I was listening like the first hour. And I was sitting there and I'm watching it. Every time I go to the videos, every time I go to one of our shows and I click on it, I'm just listening to sound quality or whatever and just listen to what's going on. I'm sitting there and I'm watching the likes scroll, but the fucking number doesn't change. Like while I was watching the video today, it was at 43 likes. And I sat there and I watched it scroll like 6 times while I was sitting there and the number never changed.
Yeah, it would scroll to 43, 43, 43, 43, and eventually it'll go maybe to 44.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm getting...
it's like 1 out of every 10 or whatever it does. It'll move 1.
And because of that...
I've noticed that too.
Listen, because of that, if people were liking that video, it would make the video go someplace where other people who don't know about us would find it. In other words, because there's likes, there's certain things, there's certain triggers that trigger that to go up to the Google, people's homepage or whatever.
Puts you higher in the algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. So, I wonder if there's a way to, I just, I want to know. I wonder if there's a way.
Well, what was the one Epic had, right? It had so many thousand views on it, right? And the next day it had like 100 views.
Yeah. No, I have a screenshot of us and we had 6 million subscribers.
Yeah.
And that was like 5 or 6 years ago.
And then it went to like 1,000, and that was
Well, no, yeah,
it was 800 or something at the time, right? It wasn't even 1,000.
Yeah, we weren't even at 1,000 on our side. Like we couldn't see it. But that's the thing is like, how would you know? There's no way.
You don't.
That's what I mean. For you to know, it's like, well, maybe at this point you can make some sort of AI agent that could track it. But maybe it would only be able to track it based on what it actually said. So if it got stuck on 43, it would just say 43 because it's not clicking over. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm sorry, you guys, man. I'm a little disjointed today for some reason. I'm just.
I think that YouTube artificially promotes, people that they like, or people that have their that make them a lot of ad money probably get pushed up way higher because, and the numbers scroll. Like some of these people, I can't believe have, 10 million subscribers.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I mean, we don't sit here and go, hey, hit the like button, hit the fucking subscribe. We don't sit there like I'll call people guys. Everybody on YouTube calls people guys. Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Hit the like button,
look.
guys. Hey guys. Share. Hit the bell, guys. Look at.
Yeah.
And you know how many people that's the first full minute of their video is.
That's what I mean.
Hey guys, make sure you like and subscribe.
That's what I mean. That's why
I can't stand that, man.
Neither.
It drives me
that's
nuts.
why we don't. That's why we don't
do it. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
But I mean, still, the thing is, if you like the show, like if you come over here and listen to one of these shows, and you like it, and you're compelled to hit the like button, then that means something.
Please do, of course. But we don't pimp for it.
Yeah, don't hit the like button if you don't fucking like the show. You know what I'm saying?
So wasn't Kev Baker's show messed with as far as the numbers all the time?
Oh yeah.
I mean, just how they show.
Any of us crazy conspiracy theorists, we all get pushed down in the algorithm. The people who talk, especially during the C-19 incident. Anybody who talked about that. Well, a lot of people just got whacked and banned completely, but everybody got pushed way down in the algorithms.
But Kev would do the woo stuff. He didn't really get after politics that much, right? Am I right or wrong there? I mean, he didn't have any use for that.
He did a little bit of it, but not a terrible amount. No, definitely not. But there was a lot more woo to talk about back then, and a lot less politics. The whole Michelle Pfeiffer incident really changed the face of situation. The face of the things that get talked about, because it was the first time when everybody started realizing that something fishy was going on. Even people who didn't believe the conspiracy theorists realized that there's that whole incident was something fishy going on, and because it affected them directly. That's
yeah,
just the toilet paper alone,
right? Toilet paper. That was a whole psyop. The toilet paper thing. There was plenty of toilet paper to go around. There was no reason it wasn't in the stores, except they didn't want it in the stores. I actually worked with a guy who worked at one of those warehouses. He said there were thousands and thousands of boxes of toilet paper in the warehouse. There's no reason it shouldn't have been in the store, except they were told not to touch it.
And then what about all those containers at San Pedro Harbor that couldn't get in? And, everybody was complaining about supply chain. But all those ships and containers were just sitting out there in the harbor.
Oh yeah. Well, I had problems getting parts too, and I actually talked to someone about getting the parts, and they said, yeah, your boat is number 300 in the line or whatever it was at the time to get unloaded. So you probably and this was in August, and it's you probably see your parts around November or December, and sure enough, first week of December, all the parts showed up. They already knew what the schedule and the timing was.
Oh, okay.
Months in advance. So yeah, that and a lot of that had to do with the dock workers and the strikes and that kind of stuff. And I'm sure they can estimate how long each boat takes to unload and each container and whatever. But that was also an artificial delay on supply chain. Absolutely. And they did it to drive prices up and to inconvenience people. You can't have a savior without a crisis.
Yeah, well, it's problem, reaction, solution, brother.
Yep, exactly.
But the thing is like you're saying, back in the day, when it wasn't like it is now, when there wasn't, there are so many podcasts at this point. Joe Rogan inspired a whole, wave of new people. And then there's even new people from the new people that have been inspired by the new people that were inspired by Joe Rogan. So there are so many shows and podcasts, and so much shit has been talked about over the years, throughout all this, So it's been.
I think they're using podcasts to hurt us.
But what I'm saying is, it used to be you were talking about shit that might happen. Okay, but like 3-4 years ago, the fucking shit happened, man. All the stuff we've talked about and people have talked about over the years, you can see that most of what people were saying was actually true. And so we've come to this point where everything we said was true, and everything is, playing out just exactly like everybody thought it would. So at that point, what do you talk about on a daily basis on here? See what I mean? Because we're talking about the New World Order. The New World Order is here. We're in it already.
Yeah, I mean, we used to speculate about the disease that was coming, or that, and like there's still speculation about the economic collapse and this and that, but it happens. It's going to happen. And you can only talk about it so much, right? So I mean, we used to speculate about the lockdowns and what was coming, and well, we all went through it in 2020. So what now we look at it in hindsight and say, yeah, okay, we were right 10 years ago about what happened 3 years ago or 4 years ago. But, what do we do now?
That's exactly where I'm at too, is what do you do now? That's the thing. What do you do now? So, I don't know, man. I'm the way I'm seeing it, I'm leaning towards, hey, I want to live a good life and a happy life, and, not trip on, any of that. You know what I mean? I don't want to trip on it.
Well, I think the best thing that we can do is keep people aware of the situation that we're in, and make the best of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we're going to try to do.
Beyond that, I mean, what can we do? There's nothing really more to warn you about.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like we said, the end of the world is coming. And you should be aware of it and ready for it, and be mentally and spiritually prepared for it. But you can't stop it.
Right
so
on.
when it gets here, just be aware that it's here, and deal with it appropriately.
Hey, Dotson Focus 3333. He's got 29 days sober today. Right on, dude. Congratulations. Nice. Yeah, keep coming back. It works.
That's a lot of savings right there. He can go buy Bitcoin with that beer money or whatever he spends it on.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I don't know. Try to move in positive directions, man. Polly, pull out your guitar, man. Get it out of the case. F the AI, dude. Just, play your guitar. Write some songs.
Yeah, stay away from the ghost in the machine, man. That thing's evil.
All right.
I'm serious. I'm serious.
Yeah.
You're not wrong, dude. I haven't actually been playing with it because there's something weird going on in there. Like, so I decided, I was like, okay, I'll take a different approach, and I'll just use I'll sample things and throw that in there, so that way it's like, I don't know, more of a separation, I guess I felt like that would be, but it's there's something weird going on in there. So I actually haven't been playing with it at all this week.
My feeling on technology for music is, if you get something like Audacity or Cool Edit or any of the major sound editing programs and record your own tracks, you can autocorrect your voice. You can manually correct your voice if you can't really sing.
I don't need to autocorrect my voice.
You can adjust. Well, what I'm saying, you can do that stuff. You can adjust the beats. You can play with the tempos and add instruments. Create your own music, even if you do it digitally. Don't let the digital create the music for you, because in the end it'll be better, because it'll have a human touch.
Just be like Phil Collins. He did that whole album by himself, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen him lately?
And he didn't even have a computer.
You don't want to see
No,
him.
he didn't have a computer.
I haven't seen him.
Don't look at him. Just remember him how he was.
Well, one of the here's another little story. One of the coolest things I ever heard was when we were in the studio. The sound engineer had the original tapes for Very Superstitious. And to hear him play all the tracks were separated. He played every instrument on that track himself, man. And like to hear the isolated bass line and the isolated, electronic piano and stuff. It was so cool just to hear him, like, he jammed out to himself.
Wow.
On every one of those, and he did the whole track himself.
Was he using click track or just he had his own rhythm?
He had his own rhythm, man. He laid down the bass line, then he laid down the clavichord, then he laid down the guitar track, then he sang over it. It was just, he just rocked out to himself.
Mm-hmm. Genius.
Man, I'm telling you, just don't sweat this end of the world shit, man. Live your life and keep your side of the street clean. You got to resign as general manager of the universe. And it doesn't matter.
Well,
even if you
just trying to check with the man on the street, just in case, like maybe I get a wild hair and it's like, okay, I got my passport, I've never really gotten off the continent too much. I've been to Hawaii, I've been to Mexico, but hey, maybe there's some place cool that you guys know about that would be worth exploring. I don't know. So it's not all bad. It's not all like, hey, that's
what I'm saying. I'm saying, I don't know. I just look at if there's a rat, if there's a rat poison sandwich over there and this other sandwich over here doesn't have any on it, which one do you want to eat?
I don't know. It's source of protein.
I don't know. All right. You guys ready to bone out?
I guess it's about that time.
Yeah, I'm beat.
Past your bedtime, Rio.
No.
Yeah, well, I'll be up for the next, 2 or 3 hours, then I'll sleep again for another 3 or 4 hours, then I'll be up for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, I gotta be.
It's a brutal cycle, and I'm actually like considering going to see like a sleep specialist over this because it's been going on for too long, and I cannot sleep normal. And it started. This whole weird sleep cycle thing started with the Michelle Pfeiffer incident, and no, I did not get injected, but I did catch whatever disease they were passing around, and it has had some physical effects. And the sleep problem is one of them, and it's continually getting worse.
You might be getting hit with some frequencies, man.
Yeah, that could be too.
I mean, I don't know. All right,
yeah, could be too.
Polly, thanks you guys for jumping in. All right, we'll see you guys. I'll see you in the morning for the wake and bake.
Stay bright, everybody.
All right.
See you, Polly.
Good night, everybody.
Trying set and match spite under the blind. Shiny and contoured, the railway winds, and I've heard this sound from my cousin's bed.